Welcome to the Pap Smear Podcast, where we don't just scratch the surface. We go deeper. What do you think?
Hilarious.
It's hilarious. When a comedian friend of yours says it's funny, it's funny. Joining me is actress, comedian, author, producer, and my friend, Retta, the one and only. And it was perfect because you called me or you texted me and said, you want to have dinner? And I'm like, you want to be on my podcast? And then you didn't write me back. There was silence. There was no bubbles.
Oh, but I was like busy. I was packing.
Good.
I was doing a bunch of stuff. Yeah. I was like trying to pull my stuff together.
But this to me was perfect because I thought, how do I bring on friends that are not HGTV? Like, I don't want to do everything HGTV. Like, the reason I was going to start this podcast, or I did, was to let people see more of me. Like, Windy City Rehab, which I love that you have watched episodes. Like, you'll text me from home and you're like, I like this, or where'd you get that? And like, you really watch it and like it. But so many people may not watch the show and maybe through the podcast get to know me on a different level. I don't want to be just this interior designer. Like, I have more to me, more chapters in my life. Like, and my friends have so many chapters. Like, people, I knew you before we started working together. And they're like, we're going to do this show you're going to design for the show that Retta's doing called Ugliest House in America. I only knew you from Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
And then, that first shoot, all I know is that. And now I'm like, oh my God, you're my friend. And like, we legit like each other, could have gone very wrong.
Oh yeah.
Very wrong. And that's the thing too, is like, you and I have talked about this where I'm like, could I ever do scripted? I probably could never. I don't think I could. And you in the beginning were like now doing unscripted.
If anybody watched the footage of our talking heads.
I don't know. Talking heads.
We call them talking heads, like on Parks, where you're talking to the camera. I said 3 words to every 2,000 words you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were... I was like, this hummingbird is just filling up the space. But then I was like, oh, she's used to talking by herself. Just standing, talking to the camera by herself. Going, and then Rob every once in a while will be like, so Retta,
Rob,
what
our
did you
producer.
think? And I was like, oh yeah, that bathroom was crazy.
Yeah. You would have like a couple words and then I'm like,
that first season,
yeah.
it was, I didn't know what to say. It wasn't until like the 3rd house. I think it was the Poseidon house, which I don't know what the order was in the episode, but I think it was the 3rd house that we went to.
When you tour them. Yeah.
Yes. And he was like, just be yourself. And I was like, what do you mean just be myself? Because I thought I was trying to be HGTV.
Yeah.
I was trying to be like, whatever. And he was like, no. And I was like, got it.
Be you.
But then when we did the house together, because you're so used to talking, I was like, oh, this is the part where they talk about, they do this is what the house looked like. This is what we're going to do. So I was like letting you talk. I was like, yeah. I don't have anything to add because I did not design this. This is not,
But you love design.
I do. I love it. I love watching it. I like doing it at my own house, but, I don't trust that some stranger is going to like anything that I would design necessarily.
No, you have really good design. Like I remember when we first FaceTimed and you were giving me a tour of your house, I'm like, because you had only described it to me.
Right.
And I was like, okay, wait, legit, you know what you're doing. Like you have.
Well, I know what I like.
Yeah.
So
But some people know what they like, but they don't know how to execute it, even with the designer. So it can come out where it's like the designer loses a bit of control and the homeowner or client takes over. And then it becomes something where you're like, maybe your designer's like, okay, I didn't do that house, right? Like, I'm not proud of it. But you have really good taste. You know what you like, you know what you don't like. And then I think also just after the first show, neither of us know what to expect, right? You're just coming into HGTV and probably seeing what most people see on HGTV. And then there's me, who I don't really do the HGTV. Even though I'm on it, I'm like, I say whatever I feel versus like holding back and doing more of the like kitschy stuff. You know, like if I hate something,
Right.
I will say,
Right.
I hate that shit.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is. But it was so cool because like I'm coming from this unscripted world. You're scripted. You have this big background in comedy. I love laughing. And you and I die. We die laughing. And that was our immediate common connection was laughter.
Right.
Which is the greatest medicine of all time.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, when did you know you were funny?
I guess in high school. I mean, because I did musicals, but it was always like a comedy bend.
Oh, that's right. You did the musicals.
I used to do musicals. I think I was a funny kid, but it was definitely more towards the teens and high school that I was like, yeah, I make people
Yeah, like I got this. I know.
Yeah.
Because when you can I'm assuming you make yourself laugh.
Sometimes I'm just being me, and when people laugh, then I laugh because I was like, oh yeah, maybe that was funny.
Really? Like you think you don't immediately go, that was, if something comes out, you say something, you know it's damn funny.
No, if something comes out that's damn funny, it's because I wanted it to be funny. But every once in a while, there's a moment, but it's also personality wise. It depends on the person, because some people just think other people's personality are funny.
Yeah.
And so that's when I find it humorous, because I'm like, I'm not trying to be funny, but this person thinks I'm funny just personality wise, which I enjoy, because then I'm extra me. You know what I mean? Like,
you go for it.
Kick it up a notch.
Well, all I know is when funny meets funny, because you know what it's like to be with someone who's not funny too.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
And I just feel like it was like when funny meets funny, that's gold. And it was like episode.
Well, it's when funny meets funny and you're not trying to out funny. When you're just enjoying it. Because when someone's trying to out funny you, then you start to be annoyed and it's not good. But if someone does something funny and it cracks you up, and then you do something and it cracks them up, then it's just enjoyable, because it's a back and forth. But I've been in rooms where it's like trying to compete for funny, and you're like, this is painful.
And it was like the first season, and I just remember because we did the was that Saudi Daisy? And that was
Daisy.
the cat house, the old like hooker den. And it was, do you remember the dad?
Sure do.
He said, do you remember when he brought in Sir Lancelot? And I go, what is that? And he goes, well, that's medieval. And I go, this is mid-century. And he goes, I got my mids mixed up.
Yes.
The best line.
I do remember that. Oh, yeah, because you cracked the hell up.
I was losing my mind. And then I thought, we have a show. Like, this is funny because the tours are amazing. What you're showing people, how you are in the space. Like, you just get to be you. It's just you, right? You're dealing with like the homeowners.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you're doing a lot of talking head stuff, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where you're just talking to the camera or the producer on the side of the camera, and you just get to say how you feel. How did you get into HGTV? Like, how did that even come to you? Ugliest House in America.
Big Fish just approached me.
Oh, they came direct to you? Really? And then what did you think
I was
initially?
like, I don't want to do it. I didn't want to host.
Yeah.
I was like, one, I don't want to host. I'm scared of it, which is why I did it, because I'm very scared of the hosting thing. I didn't feel comfortable with it. Two, I particularly didn't feel comfortable because I was like, I don't want to be making fun of people. That's not what I do. That's not what I do in my stand-up. That's not, which I hadn't done forever anyway. But I was like, I just don't, that's not my cup of gold. I've never felt, I didn't like being made fun of, and I have no interest in making fun of people. Now, if it's just with my girlfriends, yeah, I'm going to talk trash about people, whatever.
Yes.
But that's in a tight circle, and it's not to be heard by the person.
Exactly.
That's something different. But me standing in front of somebody to make fun of whatever, I was like, yeah, that's not for me. And they were like, Retta, they're submitting their homes. They say this is ugly. Let's fix it. And so that kind of made me feel a little bit better, but I still I don't try to I'm certainly not looking to make them feel bad. It's always a thing of like, so wait, why did you think this was going to be okay? Or you saw this before you walked in here, before you decide to get into a mortgage with this, right? Like I try to do it in a way that's not talking trash to them. Talking heads are different, because
Yeah, because you're alone.
I can make fun of stuff on my own.
It's like being with your girlfriends, talking
being
heads, talking to the
person,
producer.
I don't want to talk trash to the person,
Well, it comes across in a way that's just fun. Like none of it is like offensive.
Yeah,
None
I'm
of
not
it.
trying. I'm absolutely not. I don't have any interest in that. I have no interest in making anybody feel bad. And the thing is, it's like, there's like, well, I'm not going to discern or say which house it was, but there was once where I was commenting, everything I commented on was the stuff they actually had done themselves. And I was like, I'm going to need some information beforehand before I come in here talking trash about the stuff that they had done.
Yeah.
I was mortified.
Yeah, like give me some background here, guys. Let me know what they did versus what they bought.
That's the thing. I go in not wanting any information. I don't want to see the houses. I don't want to know anything about it. The only thing I ask for is like just before I go in, I ask Rob, are they talkative? Do they talk? Am I going to be doing all the heavy lifting?
Did they get pissed?
No. I mean, I felt like the husband might have been a little bit annoyed because I bet he did all the work himself. Whereas I think the wife was just excited that I was there at the house.
You buffer it. And I think too, because they submitted on their own.
Yeah.
So they've already signed up for this. Then they love you. They can't wait to see you. And then they think you're funny, and like your personality's great. So like even when you're kind of taking a stab at them or what they did, never at them, but like indirectly, they don't get mad. It's
they can't get mad. But here's the thing. And I think Rob now makes a point of this. It's like, if you want this renovation, we need this. Everybody needs to think this is the worst.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, you need to talk down. Because there's one house where I went in and everything we brought up, she's like, I love it. I was like, why are you on this show? I literally was like, why did you submit to this show? Because I feel like you love this home.
And what did she say?
She's like, well, she basically, she wanted upgrades. But yeah, she didn't want to like lose the style of the house or whatever. And I was like,
meanwhile, don't submit your house.
Like, yeah. Because, and the thing is, when you submit it, you have to say all the things that are wrong with it. So obviously that's what we're talking about. And then she's like, I don't hate it. I was like, bitch.
Yeah. Get off the show.
This is not going to be a good episode.
Right.
If all we talk about is what you love.
When did you know that it was going to be big?
I didn't. I never. When they came back and said they wanted to do like a bonus season, like I think it was the Ugly in Paradise was the second thing. And I was like, seriously? Yeah, they like it. You know, the network likes it, does well, whatever. And I was like, okay. And then I got nervous because I was like, I felt like season 1 was a fluke. You know, when you go to make that second album, the second album is always a flop.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I got real nervous about it.
And then what?
The second season was definitely logistically, they changed things to make it easier. Even though I say the job was hard, it was easier than the first season. That much I know.
Yeah. Well, because you work out all the kinks, right? Season 1 is always a bit of an
25% of the kinks.
Yeah. It's an experiment.
Now we've worked the kinks out. Yeah.
I've been on shows where I watched it to just throw it out there. I did a show called Battle on the Beach. Mm-hmm. I love that show. It was so fun and funny. And then all of a sudden I watched the episode. I'm like, well, where'd all that go? I get it, right? It's a lot of content to try to put into 42 minutes, but where is it? Like, where's the great editing? Like, how do you'll lose a show that way. I truly believe that. And Battle on the Beach did not get picked back up, which is sad because it was like adult spring break. But I believe it was all editing.
Well, that's the thing. It depends on what it is that the network is asking for too.
Yeah.
It's like, what do they want from this show? You go into a show called Ugliest House in America, I have to assume you're looking for comedy. You know, you're going in there for the jokes, to be able to laugh at something.
Yeah.
To be able to, you're not going in there to be sad about someone's ugly house. You're going in there to get a laugh on, and then at the end to get that great before and after. You know, you have to be funny with that show. So I don't know what they were, necessarily what they were looking for specifically in Battle on the Beach, but if they weren't looking for the funny, then that's why stuff got dropped.
But sometimes, for me now, knowing and being kind of behind the camera a lot too, you should always put that in.
I mean, that's us.
You have it, use it. Like, note to editor. I do that all the time. I look in the camera, note to editor. Be funny. Use the funny. Yeah. Go with us on that journey, because it's most likely going to resonate with the viewer. Mm. And so I think, like, Ugliest House in America.
Not necessarily. I have had plenty of people who do not like they don't appreciate some of the stuff that I say about the, whatever.
Who?
And I'm talking about, like, Twitter. I'm talking about, like
those people.
But that's what I'm saying. So, those are people who are HGTV diehards, and they just want their HGTV the way they know they get their HGTV, where you're just straight talking and getting to business. You know what I mean?
Cookie cutter.
They don't want to hear, where I remember I went on this one crazy where I was like talking about how crazy the house was until I went into the bathroom, and I was like, oh my God, we thought the bedroom was crazy. The bathroom was like, hold my beer. The bathroom, I walked into the bathroom was like, let me show you something else. Like, I just did a bunch of I was in tears myself, laughing at myself. Rob couldn't breathe. Matt had walked away from the camera. He was like, I
couldn't stop.
We were dying. I just kept going on and on and on about how the bathroom was like, you ain't seen nothing yet. When I was
that aired.
Yeah, and they probably put in like five of those things that I said, where I was just like, oh, we thought that bedroom was crazy.
That was you being you.
Right. But what I'm saying is, some people, they just want their straight HGTV.
There's a lot of those.
They just want.
There's a lot of those, and that's why, like, I've been on it 15 years now. Mm-hmm. Can't believe that. Didn't think I was lasting one season on mine. I was like you. I got on. I'm like, this is not going to make it. And then they're like, we want up season 2 and 3. I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. And it just kept going. And I knew that I didn't fit the mold of HGTV. Yes, I'm an interior designer. Okay, fine. There's that similarity. But I didn't do anything that was the same. And it was like, okay, I need to get rid of my Twitter now. People don't like this. They want to just tune in, see the pretty, no problems, and maybe not really laugh. I don't know. But those aren't our viewers. We don't want that anyway. Like, tune in if you're
Not
ready for
what we're selling on
Right.
Ugliest. Yeah.
Tune in if you're ready to laugh and chill and just have a good time.
And there's a good before and after. You know,
Great.
granted, it's 5 episodes in, but
Yeah.
you get to see a lot of crazy befores.
The projects are crazy for me because I get to see my designs come to fruition in 3 months.
Right.
That's nuts. Like, I don't get that on my real show because it's like, those are 1.5 year projects versus Ugliest or Scariest, which is like immediate gratification and the big before and after. And you're so into it now. I love it because, like, in the beginning, remember, you were like, I don't care, just pick it. But you're there with me at the tile shop. But you're getting more into it, which I love.
I mean, I do. Like I said, my fear lies in the homeowner because I'm like,
What kind of fear?
Like, are they gonna like this? I don't know. Because there's stuff that you pick, and I'm like, girl, really? Okay,
Like the green.
So.
I picked the green appliances, and you were like, no.
Well,
Meaning,
my
like,
thing is, I've seen it work with the stuff that you do. I've seen your clients, but you also go step by step with the clients. You're not just doing the house and then they come in and they're like, they had no choice in anything.
Well, the back end is I won't do anything without them sending me like Pinterest inspo. Because why am I going to just take a shot in the dark and scare the shit out of them? The whole point is to make the ugliest house in America the most beautiful house and making them happy. I mean, think about it. We have so many people to make happy. Number one, the client. Number two, or let's be serious. Number one, the network. Number two, the homeowner.
Right.
Number three, the viewer. So there's a lot of people we have to make happy. And ultimately, we're never going to win that, right? Like, it's like the homeowner means so much to me. And then it scares the shit out of you sometimes when I pick things out and you're like, uh-oh. And it always works.
I don't know.
Every time. I don't know one person. And I've not kept in touch with all of them, but like, they are so grateful. I mean, these.
Right. That's another thing. I mean, it's free.
Free. They pay like a gift tax.
Yeah.
But can you imagine? It's like my old Kitchen Crashers days where people would get like a brand new kitchen for like $100,000 for free. And it's like, well, you better be grateful. Like, come on. I'm trying to give you what you want. We're trying to make great TV.
I know.
How many tours are you doing in one season?
One season of Ugliest is 15 tours.
Do you look at like something like Ugliest where you go, I don't want to do it in the beginning. I'm scared to do it. When you said I'm scared to do it.
Thing that it's pretty lucky that I agreed to do it. Yeah, because I was like, well, part of it was, I hated downtime in between my shows. I always want to be working and I just hated hiatuses, big hiatuses. And so I'd be like, telling my managers and my agents, like, I want to audition for stuff. I want other stuff, blah, blah, blah. So when this came, it was like, bitch, you said you wanted other stuff. Here's other stuff.
Take it.
So, and they weren't, but I was the one that had to decide that I wanted to do it. And I didn't want to do it because it was a hosting thing, because I was very scared of hosting.
Why were you scared of hosting?
I just don't I like scripted. You know what I mean? Like I like to, make the words on the page my own as opposed to coming up with the words. It's a lot to just to talk constantly. There's just a fear. I'm an actor, so I was very much like, okay, you always complain that you don't work in your hiatus. Here's an opportunity to work. I know you're scared to death, but do the things that you're scared of. So I did it. And it was the luckiest thing that I did because when the show got canceled, I was like, okay, when
Good
Good Girls
Girls.
got canceled, I was like, okay, well, I have this other show. It's only this amount of time, but it's something to do. And then during the strike, when no one could work, I could do it because it wasn't SAG. So it was the biggest blessing. Now it's like, okay, how long are people going to want to watch this show?
They're going to keep wanting it.
How long are
My
people
favorite was
gonna
being
have
out to
any-
dinner with you. We were in, I think it was Philly, and we were getting dinner. And you came back from the bathroom. And you're like, it's like people just now know me for Ugliest
It's
House.
so funny. Like before, I could tell that when somebody was about to recognize me, I could tell if it was like Parks or if it was for Good Girls or even if it was for Girlfriend's Guide to Divorce. Just demographically, I could tell. But now people will come up and I'll be like, oh, they definitely watch Good Girls. They'll be like, Ugly House. And I'm like, oh,
What happened?
don't they watch Parks? I was like, I don't know. It was crazy. I remember when we were on the road for season 3 with Emily, and in these random towns, people would be like, "Oh, I know you from Ugly House," and me and Emily would be like, "Really?"
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy. I mean,
HGTV, people
this
watch.
is a big ass show.
But I also think it's HGTV is one of those things, you know, where you'll put it on. You'll even just put it on because I like to see the beginning and the end. I don't necessarily need to see how it's done, but sometimes if you're in a mode where you can't concentrate on the TV, you can put on HGTV and just check in.
It's the best formula.
It's so crazy. So I feel like people really enjoy looking at people's ugly homes.
I know you told me this story, but I don't remember it. But first stand-up.
The very first time I did it was this like local competition thing where the winner got signed by, it was a scam though,
Why did you say it was a scam?
because like you had to bring a certain number of people, you had to sell tickets
Oh, you had to
yourself.
sell your own tickets.
You had to sell your own tickets, bring your and then I found out later that a lot of like bullshit agencies will do stuff like that. It wasn't just stand up, it was like singers and whatever.
Like a talent show.
Yeah, and like the winner turned out to be a kid who brought his whole church because he sold the most tickets. But they offered to rep me because I did well. I didn't do that well, but I did well in that
Did
crowd.
you think you did well? Well, you know,
I
based
did.
on laughs.
Yeah, but I was so drunk because I was so scared that I drank. Remember Smirnoff Ice?
Yeah.
I drank a 6-pack of Smirnoff Ice sitting in that audience before I went up. I was sweating. It was so crazy. But I
Loosened up.
I loosened up.
Did you write bits or did you just go on up?
No, I had a plan. I went up with a plan.
Did you like do it like in the mirror? Did you just do it in your
Yes.
room alone?
did it in
Did
the
you ever
mirror.
do it with friends?
No, I never did it with friends. I did, but when I wrote, I wrote every single move. I wrote tilt head to the left, and look up. Like shit like that.
Come on.
I was a psychopath.
All your moves.
Because I thought when I watched stand up, I loved stand up, and when I watched stand up, I used to pick up the mannerisms, and the mannerisms were part of, and it was really personality, but to me, the mannerisms of the stand-up were part of the show. And I felt like, oh, this works because this person tends to laugh. You know, they tend to, you know, when they do their punchline, they tend to put their shoulder forward, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh, I thought I had the equation of what worked with comedy. And so I literally would write every movement. I would write laugh to self. I was a psychopath. I finally, you know,
But it worked.
got
You
out
weren't
of
a
that.
psychopath if it
Well,
worked.
it was too much. It was tough.
Like tough on you.
Yes, it was very tough on me.
Because you were like writing, in essence, you're writing like this whole movie
Yeah, it was a
every
lot.
move or a
Yeah.
play, which you have your background in that, right? Like you were doing musicals.
Well, it's in
You had
high
done
school
them.
and college, yeah.
But that's a big deal. You're singing, you're on stage, you're acting,
Yeah.
you're doing it all. And so to do stand up, that is my biggest fear in life. Drowning and stand up. Two of my biggest fears. But you and I was going to do it on Ugliest House. Remember, we found that like open mic night, and Rob, our producer, like signed me up for
God.
it.
Did he
And
really?
you and Matthew, like our crew was going to be the audience, and I chickened out because I'm like, do I write a bit or do I do it like this podcast where I just say fuck it, let me wing it? I
Can't
need.
imagine just
You can't wing
winging
it.
No, never.
You have to write.
But I also, I mean, I have to write. You have to have an idea. You have to have an idea of what is going to happen on stage. It's hard to get up because even if you write, sometimes you get up there and it is blank city.
How do you deal with
it's-
that shit? Like, you did your first one, you did well,
I did okay.
and then got repped.
I didn't accept that.
Okay.
Once I found out they were a scam, I did not.
So didn't go with that.
I did not go with
And then
that
did you do it again?
And then
'Cause
I
you,
started doing open mics. So then I started going to the open mics.
How's
I've been
that?
saying I wanted to do stand up. I wanted to be stand up. And then one of the guys that I worked with, one of the guys that worked in the lab with me was like, I just saw this thing in the paper. And he showed it to me. And I was like, oh, I should try it. He's like, we'll come if you do it. Because I've been talking about wanting to do stand up because I wanted to start stand up because I wanted to have a sitcom. And at the time, all those stand up comics were the leads in sitcoms, Roseanne, Tim Allen, Brett Butler, all those people were. So I was like, I have to do stand up if I want my own sitcom. So that's why I started it.
and it worked.
It worked.
It worked. What was your first show? And did you get it based on your stand up?
No, I got my first thing I did was Moesha. I did an episode of Moesha.
Gosh, how long ago was that?
One like 98.
That was the first one you did. But doing stand up the whole time before that? Like still
I
in
was
the
still doing
circuit?
stand-up. I was still doing stand up when I was on Parks. I would go on the weekends, on the road on the weekends.
Really?
Yeah, I made more money doing stand up than I did when I was doing Parks.
Come on. The whole time?
No, after a while, I couldn't. After season, I think I stopped at season 3. I couldn't. Then I couldn't do it because I wasn't. I was making more money, so I was not going to stop. When I became a regular season 3, I stopped because I was making enough money to stay in town and not have to go on the road. So I would go on the road in between seasons.
Yeah. Like when you had a true break.
Yeah.
Because it offset it. So you're like, okay, I got a real staying power. How long was Parks and Rec for you? How many seasons?
7.
7 years?
Yeah, but I wasn't a regular until the 3rd. So first season was only 6 episodes. I did all 6 of those. Second season was 20. I think we did. It was like 24, and then but we had to kind of go into 3, I think. And I think I missed maybe 3 or 4 episodes in the first 2 years, and then season 3, I became a regular.
Did you die laughing on that show? Mm-hmm. Was it just nonstop laughter?
It was.
And was it some improv, some?
It wasn't a lot of improv. I mean, we always got what they called a fun run for every take, which was go nuts. You got to get the crux of the story. You got to get the points you have to make for the scene, but you can do whatever. And so you didn't, those takes didn't necessarily make it into the show. Maybe pieces of it, if something, a joke really was strong, maybe pieces of it got into it. Like I remember I got a line from a fun run in. We were having a thing about it was the water fight episode where we were trying to figure out how to keep Pawneans from putting their mouths on the spout around the water fountain. And my blow to the scene, I call it, was I someone said, what do I recommend? And I was like, do I look like I drink water?
Do I look like I drink
I was
water?
like, I don't have a recommendation. Do I look like I drink water?
It's crazy. Like, I love your path, your chapters, the fact that like you started in one spot, going to college to be a chemist.
To be a doctor. I was chemistry
But you chemistry major.
Yeah.
And then you were going to be a doctor. And look at where you are. In my house. We're going to a steakhouse after this. But like look at like, I never thought I would be sitting in my living room doing a fucking podcast. Like, or never thought in my life that I would be doing TV or 15 years later doing an amazing show with you that people love and laugh at, and we get to laugh at. Battle on the Beach was like my adult spring break, and that got canceled. And so now I've got my adult spring break with you and summer, spring and summer, Retta. I'm so happy. It's not even funny, but thank you for doing this.
No problem.
And let's go eat.
Let's go eat.
My stomach's like growling. I'm like, can this hear this? It's like, roar.